in previous lecture we discussed about decline of Tughlaq Empire. In northern India, this empire was declined out, but in south parts there were still fragmentation. So, for example, as we discussed, that South India separated out from his empire, and Vijayanagar's empire was created near Hampi. They are having capital at Hampi. Whereas another empire was created that is called as Bahamani Empire in Deccan territory. Now I am focusing on this Bahamani Empire. Name of person is Hasan Gangu Bahamani. He established his empire in south part of south part of Delhi Sultanate part. Particularly, he was having capital at Gulbarga, and he established his own empire. It is said that he was in initial stages working with a Brahmin person named as Gangu, and then on behalf of him he kept name of his empire as Bahamani Empire. I don't know whether it is real or no, but this empire is called as Bahamani Empire. But this empire was not in favor of the subjects. Rather than that, they sacked out, they tortured out this territory. So after end of Khilji rule, Tughlaq rule was there in South India. Then South India split out into two kingdoms. Vijayanagar's empire was separate, and Bahamani Sultan or Bahamani Empire was separate out from that. Now these Bahamani Sultans were ruling with very cruel manner, and many Bahamani Sultans were there. They were not taking care of their subjects, but they were engaged in continuous war with Vijayanagar's Hindu Empire. Vijayanagar's empire maintained some standing army of 15 lakh soldiers, and therefore Bahamani Sultan were not able to defeat them. Whereas in North India, situation was something different. In North India, after this rule of Firuz Shah Tughlaq, a world famous person arrived in India named as Taimur Lung. Taimur Lung was a Mongol. As we discussed earlier, that Kutluk Khwaja was able to reach to Delhi. Taimur Lung also having plan in his mind. But what was difference here between Kutluk Khwaja, Targhi Khan or any other Mongol rider and Taimur Lung? That before entering in India, Taimur Lung accepted Islam as his religion. So earlier Mongol riders were not Islamic in initial stages. So for example, after defeat of Kutluk Khwaja, Mongol soldiers were arrested by Alauddin Khilji. He asked them to accept Islam, forcefully obviously, and then they accepted. But here, Taimur Lung accepted Islam first, and then he plundered out vast territory of world in those days. Even in Europe, he spread out, his empire was there. He visited a famous place in Muslim world that is called as Karbala, where grandsons of Prophet Muhammad were executed brutally. Between that some internal battle was there. And then while returning back from Karbala, that place is there in Iraq, modern day. So from Karbala to Samarkand, Samarkand was capital of his empire. So while returning back, he memorized that and started making say a replica of the tomb of Hassan and Hussein. Here the tradition of Mohram, particularly making that we are calling as tabut, that was started by this Taimur Lung, and then onwards he spread out. Then Taimur Lung carried out attack over India. See, till Kutluk Khwaja they were able to reach just till Delhi but defeated back. But Taimurlan was able to reach till Delhi, he conquered Delhi, and he was tortured because of strong resistance offered by Indians. And then he ordered that Katle-Aam, that means general slaughter of people of Delhi. And this way, Delhi was plundered, sacked out and destroyed completely by Taimurlan. He returned back by appointing his vassal as Sayyid. And then Delhi observed another rule. For nearly 50 years, Delhi Sultanate was under control of Sayyid dynasty. So, if I am talking of Delhi Sultanate, there are many dynasties. We have discussed first slave dynasty, then Khilji dynasty, then 1 year Nasiruddin's rule, after that Tughlaq dynasty, now Sayyid dynasty. Whereas in South India, situation was something different. These Bahamani sultans were not having full control. They were ruling out with many nobles, and nobles were enjoying their local power. These sultans, Bahamani sultans, were not capable of expanding their empire, neither controlling or not in welfare of the common people. This chance was taken by their nobles, whereas Bahamani sultans were engaged in constant war with Vijayanagar's empire, and ultimately they lost out their strength. Now this Bahamani sultan, as they were getting weaker and weaker, the nobles in their court decided to form their independent kingdom. Like Bahamani sultans split out or rebelled against Tughlaq and formed their empire, these 5 persons separated out, not at a time, but simultaneously, and 5 different kingdoms were produced in South India or Deccan. These 5 kingdoms are here. First, I am taking name Adil Shah. Adil Shah was there from Bijapur, the place in Karnataka. Adil Shah was having origin in Turkestan. Turkestan is territory beyond Afghanistan. So he was basically Turk. Second kingdom, that was Qutub Shah from Golconda, that is in Andhra Pradesh territory. So that was second person. He was from Iran. A Persian ruler was ruling over here. So all these 5 nobles were Muslim, but they were having different origin. There is territory named as Bidar, and from that Bidar, a ruler was there named as Barid Shah. Barid Shah was from Georgia. Just check out on map where you will find Georgia. You will find it between Black Sea and Caspian Sea. That territory is there, that is called as Georgia. If you are aware that one of the Russian dictator during communist rule, named as Joseph Stalin, original name Joseph Zugashvili, famous as Joseph Stalin, he was there from Georgia. Originally he was native of Georgia, and then he controlled Russia. Whereas here, one of their native, he came to India and he got power in hand. He ruled over Bidar territory. Then 2 other territories were there. They are Vidarbha. In modern day we are calling Vidarbha. In old day it was called as Berar. From there a ruler was Imad Shah. And another territory, that is Ahmednagar. Prominently it was called as Ambikanagar, but it is converted name as Ahmednagar. And from that a person was ruling Nizam Shah. This Imad Shah and Nizam Shah, they were Indians. They were originally Hindus, Brahmin from Vijayanagar's empire, but they were converted. They were taken as captive in war. They were converted, they accepted Islam, and later on they become ruler. So Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar and Imad Shah of Berar, were Indian Muslims, whereas Bijapur Adil Shah, Yusuf Adil Shah, he was Turki Muslim, Qutub Shah from Golconda was Persian Muslim, and Barit Shah from Bidar was Georgian Muslim. So this way Bahamani kingdom here split out into 5 different kingdoms. Obviously there was supremacy battle between these 5 kingdoms, whereas they were having continuously fights with each other, but when they were fighting with Vijayanagar's empire, they were uniting out together. Otherwise they were having rivalry, and for that purpose they lost out their armies soon. And then they realized that local people called as Maratha, they were very good warriors, and they accepted them in their services. And this way, beginning of Maratha power rise that was started during Bahamani kingdom only. Marathas were very good warriors, they were very good loyal, and over a period of hundreds of years, they lost out the concept that we were independent rulers here before arrival of Alauddin Khilji. But now they accepted suzerainty and they started working for these Bahamani sultans, or rather I should say these Adil Shah, Nizam Shah, Qutub Shah, Barit Shah, in all that. And they started here ruling like a concept we are calling as Jahagirdan. These Bahamani sultans started giving Jahagiri. Jahagiri means we have to get independent small kingdom. We have to collect revenue from that. We have to partly pay to Adil Shah or Qutub Shah, whatever that, and remaining you have to keep it with yourself. Here when I am saying Maratha, Maratha is not name of caste over here. The native of Maharashtra, that is called as Maratha. So like that, people of various castes joined out these services. So for example, you are aware of familiar names like, this way these people started recruiting out local people in the local politics, and then matter changed out. In North India, there was some different scene. Here, after end of Sayyid dynasty, another dynasty came into existence on Delhi Sultanate that is having name as Lodhi dynasty. Now Lodhis were Afghan or Pathan, rather I should say they are called as Pathan dynasty or Afghan dynasty. Say, Alauddin Khilji was called as Afghan, but he was originally belonging to Turkestan. Their nature of living was something different. We are calling them as Turko-Afghan ruler. But here, these Lodhis are considered as Afghan rulers. Their nature is something different. There is no one person as chief. Now Delhi Sultanate was ruled by Pathan people. This is called as Lodhi dynasty. And then these Lodhis started conquering territories around Delhi, and they expanded their kingdom again in North India. And that's why Lodhi dynasty is important again, because they consolidated out empire in greater extent in North India. Now this thing is something different, that in South India there was continuous battle between these dynasties, that is Adil Shah, Nizam Shah, Qutub Shah, Barit Shah and Imad Shah, and ultimately Imad Shah from Berar and Barit Shah from Bidar lost out their existence. Meanwhile, in territories of Maharashtra, another dynasty was arrived, that is called as Farukhi Sultan from Khandesh. But they also perished, and 3 dynasties remain over there. They are basically Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar, Qutub Shah of Golconda and Adil Shah of Bijapur. Whereas North India was now under control of Lodhis. And then another great person arrived in India. His name Vasco da Gama. 1498, he arrived from Portugal by encircling South Africa or entire Africa and reached in Kerala. The port's name is Calicut. It is said that name of king there was ruling that is having name as Zamorin. It's difficult to believe that king's name was Zamorin. In some book it is mentioned that name is Samudrin and that is corrupted as Zamorin. I don't know, but in history it is mentioned that his name was Zamorin. Vasco da Gama arrived, and then onwards Portuguese started coming to the coastal areas. Not immediately, but after that. And then another great person arrived from Portugal named as Afonso de Albuquerque. Afonso de Albuquerque initially conquered this sea. A naval battle was there between Arabs and Portuguese on this sea for control, and ultimately Afonso de Albuquerque found victorious. He conquered these Arabs, and Arabs accepted supremacy of Portuguese over this sea. And then onwards, Afonso de Albuquerque started conquering different territories from coastal line of India. So this way, on this scene, now obviously we are discussing about different foreigners were there in India. They were having ambition to control over India. So for example, there is territory in Africa that is called as Abyssinia. Now you can check out the name of nation is Ethiopia. In old days it was called as Abyssinia, or it is called as Habsan. The people native of that Abyssinia or Habsan is called as Habshi. These Habshi are oftenly called as Siddhi also. They were there in India, tried to recollect during Rajia Sultana. She was having an affair with one of the African slave that was from Ethiopia. Now these Ethiopians, they are called as Siddhis. They were also there in regional politics. They were also engaged. Then Portuguese also arrived in scene. Followed by Portuguese, slowly Dutch. Then people from France, England. All these people arrived. Spanish people were not there in India. They didn't arrive. But people from Denmark, Holland, that is Netherlands, they arrived and they started training centers in India. There was a different scene in south part, whereas in north there was another scene. A famous person entered in India or was ready to enter in India, having name as Babur. You are aware of Babur. Original name Zahiruddin al-Muhammad Babur. He was Mongol, but these Mongols are now settled out in Turkestan for many years. For many decades they were there in Turkestan only. But still, Mongols were not considered as superior persons. They were considered as inferior person only. And therefore, Babur was not ready to call himself as Mongol. So it is said that he coined a term that is called as Mughal. So simply instead of Mongol, he called themselves as Mughal. But they were oftenly calling themselves as Turk also. They were not native Turks. But as these Mongols were there in Turkestan for many years, they were calling themselves as Turk. From mother's side, he was in fifth descendant of Genghis Khan. And from father's side, he was third descendant of Taimurlan. Just imagine the situation. Both are famous for its cruelty. But Babur was not that fortunate. When he was 11 years old, he lost out his kingdom. First he lost out his father because he was comparatively late child of his father, and he lost out his father when he was at 11 years old. But nominally he was appointed by his father as Subedar of territory that is called as Fargana. This Fargana territory is in modern days Chinese Turkestan area. You are aware that China, being an expansionist nation, they occupied various territories. Say for example, under name of consolidation of empire, they occupied Tibet. So Tibet is this part, which was actually having independent nation, but China occupied that around 1950s. Even Britishers were not ready to occupy that. Britishers kept this as buffer zone. So same way, in this territory, here, there is territory that is called as Fargana. That Fargana is now belong to Chinese territory, but in old days it was part of Turkestan only. Babur lost out its state. Babur tried to conquer Samarkand unsuccessfully because capital was there at Samarkand. All earlier battles Babur fought were totally unsuccessful. Then finally he lost out his empire, his wealth, even his troops, everything, and wandered here and there in the deserts of Afghanistan. At that time, he was helped by an old woman. She was actually chief of one tribe in Afghanistan. His son was chief of that tribe, and practically she was controlling of that tribe. Babur was there with that tribe, and then soon he got control over that tribe. He became chief of that tribe, and then with his own intelligence, innovative ideas and efforts, Babur became ruler of Afghanistan. Now here, see the fun. Afghans were ruling out on India, whereas Afghanistan was ruled by a Mongol invader, Babur. But he managed to get control over Afghanistan. He again made an attempt to conquer Samarkand unsuccessfully. So when person is carrying out lots of efforts but not getting success, whatever is remaining in his hand, that is called as experience. And that was tremendous with Babur. But during this period, Babur got a tool. Now some historians are saying, no, prior to Babur also this tool was used in India, that is called as cannon. Artillery was invented in China, and soon that artillery spread out in Central Asian parts, and then Babur got that. But some historians are saying, no, prior to Babur, Indians were aware of artillery or these cannons. But what is the thing? That Babur utilized this tool effectively. Babur was having dream to conquer India. And then from Afghanistan, he decided to carry out attack. He was gathering out information regarding India and political situations in India. Whereas Delhi was ruled by a person named as Ibrahim Khan Lodhi, emperor of Lodhi dynasty, totally unexperienced one. Whereas his maternal uncle was there named as Daulat Khan. He was at that time Subedar of this part, this is called as Lahore territory in Punjab. Babur was called by Daulat Khan Lodhi for his help. But soon the matter was solved and Babur was sent back to Afghanistan. Next time Babur came with full preparation, and first he defeated Daulat Khan Lodhi. Some historians are saying that Babur was called and helped by a Rajput king named as Rana Sangh. But we don't have any evidence. They are saying that he called, but we don't have evidence that Babur was called by this. But the fact is that Rajputs were in preparation to control Delhi again. What was their basic idea? That from Prithviraj Chauhan, as Prithviraj Chauhan was ruler of Delhi, Prithviraj Chauhan conquered this, belonged to this, whereas Muhammad Ghauri conquered this from Prithviraj Chauhan. So after that, we want again back. And Rana Sangh was preparing to conquer Delhi. And for that purpose, he called Babur. But we don't have that evidence. It is said that like that only things are there. And I don't know. But by guessing, it is difficult for me to believe that Rana Sangh called Babur for this thing. But the thing is that Babur was having his ambition to control over Delhi, control over India, and so he entered in India. The task was very difficult for Babur because around 25,000 army was there with Babur, whereas Ibrahim Khan Lodi was having more than 1 lakh army. But according to Babur, Ibrahim Khan Lodi was having no control, a strong control over his army, whereas Babur said that my army is in full control, under full command, and being smaller army, Babur was able to manage a fast communication and fast movement, whereas Ibrahim Khan Lodi was not able to do that. Now you are aware that when foreign invaders, they are coming from Khyber Pass and they are targeting themselves towards Delhi, the people of Delhi used to go away from Delhi to fight with them. The place is somewhere here. You are aware that Prithviraj Chauhan also fought battle with there. That is place is Tarayad. Ibrahim Khan Lodi also went out. The place is Panipat. In modern day, it is there in Haryana, state of India. So that name of place is Panipat. And at Panipat, the battle was there between Ibrahim Khan Lodi and Babur, where Ibrahim Khan Lodi was defeated and executed in the battlefield, whereas Babur proved victorious. And now Babur marched to Delhi. Now see, after Taimurlang, another Mongol invader was able to reach till Delhi. Say earlier Mongol invaders were not able to make their empire, even Taimurlang. But Babur, once reached to Delhi, didn't return back. He decided to sit on the throne straightway. And then he said that I am the new emperor. That is called as Khutbah. He read out Khutbah on his name, as Delhi Sultanate now belonged to him. And then he was strongly opposed by Afghans. As Ibrahim Khan Lodi was defeated, but still Afghan rulers were there. He was able to defeat only Ibrahim Khan Lodi, but his empire that was there, that was belonging to Afghan people at that time. Whereas Rajputs, under leadership of Rana Sangh, also created strong resistance. And then there was battle between Rajputs confederation under leadership of Rana Sangh versus Babur. Initially, Babur afraid, because now he has to fight with Rana Sangh, a great warrior. Then he swore that he will follow Islam strictly. He will not consume liquor. And all his troops also swore that they will also not consume liquor. And then they decided to fight with Rana Sangh. Whereas Rana Sangh was defeated in the battle. The battle is called as Battle of Khanwa. Rana Sangh was defeated, not executed. He died after many years, 2-3 years after that he died. But he lost out that battle. Now Babur fought various battles with Afghan chief and controlled out Indian territory. But this Indian territory was predominantly some territories of Rajasthan, parts of UP until Bengal, like that, and parts of MP. Like that his empire was there. But every Afghan chief was not surrendered to Babur to 100%. Here we are taking a little break in North India and we are switching over to South India again.